And we're back with the Hot Mike Show live from Los Angeles. I'm Bill Whittle with our guest today, Mike Knowles from the Mike Knowles Show over on the Daily Wire. And we've been talking about Hollywood's worst box office in 25 years and all of the harping that they do and all of the insulting that they do of the vast number of American people who used to go to movies and don't go to them anymore. Just before the break, Mike was talking about the fact that movies may have actually peaked and are on their way out as a form of entertainment, and there's some pretty good evidence that he's right about this. Let me show you a picture here of somebody that you probably don't know. That is a guy named, well, his screen name is PewDiePie. He's a Swede, and he has the largest YouTube channel. He has 57 million subscribers. 57 million. If we look at the YouTube numbers, you can see that they're just unbelievable. I mean, some of these numbers here, number of subscribers on the right, 57 million, 32 million, 31 million, 25 million. Now let's get that into just a little bit of perspective, shall we? The top ranked TV shows, this is what they would see on a general basis if we have those up there. Okay, so you can see like the end of MASH was 128 million, but by the time you get down to the bottom, these are the top shows that ever aired. 47, 48 million. He has more subscribers than that. And finally, just to give you a little close, the most watched event on TV ever was the moon landing back in 1969 on July 20th. 530 million people watched the moon landing. 530 million people. It's like 16% of the population of the Earth. That was the biggest TV event ever. 530 million. There's a guy on YouTube named Luis Fonsi. He has a video called Despacio, which has been seen 3.58 billion times. Billion times. 7, 8 times what the moon landing did. So something's going on, Mike. People are leaving TV and they're going to YouTube. What is it about YouTube that they like?
It, I think, explains in part why Hollywood has lost its glamour. It's the same reason why we're now going to YouTube. It's funny you bring up PewDiePie. I was just looking at him about 2 hours ago. The man could run for president. I suppose he can't because he's a Swede, but he has so many people at his fingertips. And even when you talk about those old shows that used to get so much market share, I Love Lucy, the great sitcoms, that has not been the case since Seinfeld. Since the 1990s, early 2000s, that massive common culture has dissipated. In part, it's because there are video-on-demand services now, so people don't just watch the networks or the 1,000 cable channels. They'll watch Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or iTunes or what have you. Or even more frequently, they'll go to YouTube and they'll find their guys that they like and they will follow them. And the reason that we follow somebody like PewDiePie is that we know everything about his life. We watch him playing video games. The biggest episodes on his channel are him making jokes about video games and playing video games. It seems totally uninteresting, perhaps, to us, but people love that personal connection, that Instagram culture.
That's it.
Feeling that I know what Kim Kardashian is like when she's eating her lunch or what kind of sandwich she likes. And that has two sides. On the one hand, we immediately go to this personal relationship with them. But because it's so unglamorous now, we know that people like David Harbour, who gave that awful speech when he won for Stranger Things, screeching political speech, Meryl Streep, George Clooney, we know that they're just as flawed and in many ways much more flawed and disgusting as we, your average Joe American. And so it really breaks that glamour that we used to expect from the silver screen.
That's terrific stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Knowles is, you can watch him on the Mike Knowles Show over at the Daily Wire, along with some other friends of ours over there. Mike, it's great to have you with us. I really appreciate that insight, and we look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Thanks for having me, Bill. Always good to talk to you.
You too, pal. There's one final thing to close on here that is probably the worst news for Hollywood of all, and it's very subtle. Something that I struggled with, and I still continue to struggle with, to be honest with you. I fight this tooth and nail. It just offends me. But it's the reality of the world now, so I just have to accept it. And that's very simply this. I've been doing political videos on YouTube for, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years. 50 million views, somebody counted once. That's a pretty decent number over the course of my career. And the thing I cannot come to grips with is the reality of what the audience is looking for now. Mike touched on it just a second ago. The reality is, the more produced a show looks, the lower the numbers are. The less produced the show looks, the bigger the numbers are. Probably all of the stuff I do with graphics and green screen and bringing in videos and all these transitions, probably my numbers would be much, much higher if I just held up a camera and talked into it and just did it as a selfie. Now, Mike touched on the reason for that, and it's a simple reason, and that is affinity. People feel like they know these YouTube stars. People feel like they know them, and the more produced that show is, the further away they are from that experience. Our friend Mike Rowe, who did a terrific job on Deadliest Catch and Dirty Jobs, he just has a podcast now. He just puts his camera on his dining room table and talks to it in the morning over a cup of coffee. Does huge numbers. So affinity is the thing. People like the people that they like, and that means Hollywood's in big trouble. And I'm probably in some trouble myself. That'll do it for the Hot Mic Show today here on NRATV. I'm Bill Whittle. We'll see you back again tomorrow.